imagine being in Australia, being an 8-year-old, and shining shoes. Hi, this is Mark Boersma. I'm so excited for the Engineered Clarity and the Grandpa's Magic Couch story today. Wow. Maybe allowances aren't the best way to teach our children how to work hard. Interesting. And I'd like to introduce my very good friend, Don Crozier. Don, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, and this is Mark Boersma, and Don and I have known each other for a long time, probably 20 years, and I've never heard this story until just today, so you're hearing it the same day I'm hearing it, and it's like, wow, what a cool story. It comes within the DNA for Life, natural laws, and so one of the 500-plus natural laws is the shining shoes principle. Now, again, this was just discovered today. You can discover your own natural laws. There's over 500 of them, more that can be discovered, like by you, and that's when you discover your own. That's when it's the coolest. Or if you're a grandpa, when your grandkids discover it with you, or you discover it with them, so much more fun. All right, so, how do we leave a legacy for working hard, being producers, not consumers, givers, not takers, and doers, not talkers? Often people think white males over 50 who are successful have had a silver spoon, or others may call it white privilege. Now, Don and I don't want to get into any trouble, like we're not here to offend anybody, like we're not bad-talking, any of that kind of stuff. But wait a minute, maybe when you think about it, maybe it is white privilege. Maybe it's the privilege in learning from a young age that you better learn how to work hard, be frugal, be giving, produce far more than you consume, and have zero entitlement. That definitely gives you privilege in life when you do that. Don, I'm so excited to hear the story. Tell us about the story of when you were 8 years old and shining shoes in Australia.
Well, it's not really much of a story other than I was born in Australia to Scottish parents, and just the way that we were raised was that if you want something, you're going to have to go out and get it. And so even at the age of 8 years old, I had my little shoe shining kit in my hand and walked down the street and shined people's shoes for, in that country, a shilling, which is about a quarter today, kind of a thing. But that's how I started out.
And why did your parents encourage you to do that? Like, how did you come up with the idea to shine shoes?
Well, first of all, that's a big British thing, is, to have nice shining shoes and take care of your belongings. May not be true today in American society, but it definitely was true in my household, and starting at a very young age. So, I was shining my own shoes at 3. And so, you just take off from there, because if you know how to do it and it works well for you, then you can easily make money at it. And so I just walked down the street. That then grew into mowing lawns and other things as I grew older.
So did you have siblings? Did they do it? Like, I'm just thinking, like one day you said, "Hey, I'm going to start shining shoes for a living." How did that happen at 8 years old?
I'm the oldest of 4.
Okay.
And there in Australia, actually, was just 3 of us, 3 siblings. And I think it was a matter of, necessity is the mother of invention. And so I wasn't going to get any kind of allowance out of my thrifty Scottish father that was a steel worker. And so we were not living high on the hog, to be for sure. And so I had to figure out ways that I was going to be able to buy that car or whatever other toy that I wanted. And it kind of went from there. But, yeah, you're right. You kind of brought up a point. My 2 brothers definitely were different personalities than I, looked at things differently and interacted differently all the way through our lives. And, kind of, there were some things as we got into our teenage years and stuff that we could really see the huge disparity, you might say, in our personalities. So we can get into that too if we want. But that's a whole other subject, I guess.
And then you'd mentioned when you were, was it 15 years old or?
Well, yeah. So we moved. Well, actually, we moved to Vancouver, BC, for about a year and a half, and then came down here to the States. And when I was 10, and then when I was 11, I got a paper route, and here was this is the first sign that things were completely different between my brother-in-law, even in the work environment, because the manager liked the job that I did so well that he wanted to hire my brother, who's a year and a half younger than me, but he assumed, kind of that association thing that my brother was going to be the same work ethic that I was. And my brother was definitely not that. I mean, half the time I had to go back from where we picked up the papers, bicycle back to the house and wake him up on the couch because he'd come downstairs, fall asleep. And yeah, that was very irritating, and I learned there were some valuable lessons that I learned in that thing. It's like, don't bring on a friend or relative into business. That's the first thing. But then from there, when I was 15, well, I was probably 15, I guess. I got a part-time job working for Grant's department store. It was in a mall. That the mall was going to resize and all that, so they're shutting down some of the main anchor stores, and Grant's happened to be one of them. But I was the last person hired in their little cafeteria as a dishwasher. But because of the job that I did, when they were letting everybody go, they let all the other staff within the kitchen cafeteria go except for me. They pulled me over to the storage place to help out with, doing things as far as organization and so on and so forth. So, yeah, I was kind of the last one hired and maybe close to the last one fired, even at 15.
Like, that's just awesome.
I think it went on from there. Now that you're mentioning this here, I have kind of seen a pattern here, because when I was a senior in high school, I got a job at Mr. Steak as a cook. And I was there probably 4, maybe 5 months. And there was another guy that was about 2 years.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a short break for people who are part of EC2, Engineer Clarity Community. You get to have this part of your members only. And so we want to share the story of the shoe shining principle working hard to everybody on the planet. But people who are part of EC2, Engineer Clarity Community, they get the Q&A, they get the backstory even beyond that and how that impacted Don, just so many other things. So join EC2, do it today. It's like a $20 a month membership. I'm telling you, unbelievable. Great for your kids, your grandkids, but there is a rule, and that is you can't pay for your kids and grandkids. So I've got a 7-year-old grandson, and I want to pay for him so much, but I can't. He has to do it on his own. So he's working right now to start his own company. He's starting to earn money, save money, so he can invest into Engineered Clarity, because he's going to have to do it on his own. If you have any questions on anything we connected, call the individual who invited you, or you can call toll-free 888-230-2300. That's 888-230-2300. Or if you're calling in outside the U.S., you can call the U.S.-based number 630-393-9909. We'll have a short media break, and we'll dive into the Q&A. Here we go.